Who's the best mentor for you? Well, it depends. That's a classic mentor answer, I know. I'm Chris Cooper. I'm the founder of Two Brain Business, and this is Run a Profitable Gym. And today, I'm going to tell you how to choose the best mentor for you, whether that's with Two Brain and our team of professional mentors or somebody else. Now, you're a fitness coach, and you know the value of coaching, and you understand that if you have a coach for fitness or for business, you're going to get where you want to go a lot faster. But choosing a mentor is tough. You want the right mix of empathy, somebody who's been there, and accountability to keep you moving forward as an entrepreneur. A mentor's first job is to diagnose your largest problem and then show you the best, simplest, fastest solution for you right now. But that's actually the easy part. We use tools like the Two Brain Dashboard and the Two Brain Growth Toolkit to make that diagnosis and the prescription really, really clear. The hard part is implementation. Now, you went to school, I went to school, and at school, our teachers have taught us that knowing the answer is the solution to any problem. But that's not true. You know this as a fitness coach. Just knowing the answer does not get you results. Knowing that you should raise the rates in your gym won't make you profitable, right? You need to take action. Most people fail to take the hard steps and the risks and all the stress that's required to change. And most of us get paralyzed by fear and, myths like grandfathered rates and these stories that we tell ourselves, just inertia. And we need somebody to break the big problems down into small steps, help us get over our own internal barriers, and then stay with us while we execute on one little thing at a time. Now, you've seen the personality tests out there like Myers-Briggs and Kolbe and StrengthsFinder. I'm sure you know those. They're interesting, but they don't tell us how to actually get the work done. So today I'm going to give you an exercise to help you figure out the kind of mentorship that you need that's going to actually get you results. All right, here we go. So there are 6 steps to finding the best mentor that's going to get you the best results right now. And I've got this little worksheet here. You can download it through the link below, but if you want to just draw this on a piece of paper, you can do that too. Just pull out your pencil, draw, 2 vertical lines, 2 horizontal lines, and that's going to create 3 columns. And at the top of one, you're going to write wins. At the top of the second column, you write coach. And at the top of the third column, you write lever. And what we're going to actually do now is work through this together. So the first step is I want you to think back to a time in your life when you were proud of yourself. What was the thing that you had just accomplished? Was it sports related? Did you get an A on your report card? Did you win the big game? Did you win the spelling bee, strike out the key batter, hand in a project that you really loved, make a painting? Or was it something, that you accomplished outside of school? Was it something that you did in sports, of course? Or was it something you built a treehouse with your mom and dad, whatever? You earned admission to college. You completed a piece of art. You did a big project. You set up a window display, your first retail job. What was it that you were proud of? Okay. Maybe it was fitness-based even. Did you hit a PR on something? Did you do your first competition? Did it happen in the military? Did it happen at home? Did it happen at work? Did you achieve sobriety? Were you accepted into your church? List these things in the first column under wins. Now, if you thought of more than one instance in your life when you were really proud of something you accomplished, great. And if you can only think of one time right now, that's fairly normal. That's okay. So what you're going to do is write that down in the wins column. Okay. So let's say that, I won the state championship. So for us, that might be hockey or something else. Maybe I'm going to put down, college acceptance. That just happened with my son yesterday. And so I saw how proud he was to tell us about it. I'm going to write that down. It's a great example. And I'm also going to write down a senior thesis. I can remember back to being in college and turning in something that I was really proud of. Okay, but I want you to use your own examples here. So, go ahead and write down 3 things, 5 things that you can remember back in your life when you thought like, hey, I'm proud because I accomplished this one thing. Okay. Now, while you're thinking about that accomplishment that made you really proud, I want you to answer a couple of other questions. Who was your primary coach? Okay. Who was the person that helped you get there, that told you what to do? But also, who was your model? Who were you trying to emulate? Who were you trying to be like back then? Who was the first person you called up and told about your victory? Who were you proud to share the victory with? Who was the person maybe you were trying to impress with the victory, right? Now, there could be more than one person, but I know that in every single win that you've had that you were especially proud of in your life, there was a coach or a teacher or a mentor or a model that you copied and you wanted to follow. So I want you to think about the names under that second heading, which is coach. So, maybe you won the state championship under, Coach McGrath. Okay. You don't have to think about what made Coach McGrath so amazing right now. You just have to think about like who was the mentor or the coach to you at that point. College acceptance, who was the person that you were most proud to tell? And it could be your parents. Absolutely. I'm going to write down Ms. LaRue, a guidance counselor. Okay. And that senior thesis project, well, Dr. Wingate really helped me out with that. I didn't want to do it at all. And he kind of coached me to break it down. Okay. Whatever that is, I want you to write down who your primary coach was, like who you were trying to impress or who you were happy was impressed when the end result came. Okay. The next thing that I want you to do is look at the list of names in that second column, right? So these are the people who have mentored or coached you to successful action in the past. Maybe they didn't have the name coach or they didn't have the title of mentor. Maybe you paid them, maybe you didn't, maybe they were paid by somebody else, whatever. But these are people who actually got you to do something and be successful at it, right? They're not just somebody who taught you something interesting. They didn't write your favorite book. They're not the host of your favorite podcast. They're the people that actually got you a result that you're proud of. So now what I want you to do is under that lever column, that third column, I want you to write down what was their coaching or leadership style. Now, you don't have to be formal about this. Just write down the first word that comes to mind. Were they like an authoritarian? Just do this. Were they a listener? Were they a cheerleader? Were they Socratic, right? Like they just asked you questions until you came to the answer yourself. Were they a drill sergeant, literally or, figuratively? So write down one or two words to describe the lever that they used to help you get to that result. Okay. So for me, Coach McGrath was a real authoritarian. There was no room for doubt. Do this right now. Show up at this time. If you don't make practice, you're benched, stuff like that. The college acceptance, though, she was more of a questioner, almost like a therapist. You got this high school kid. He doesn't know what he wants to do. Both of his parents are teachers. His grandparents are farmers. What do you want to do? Uncles work at the steel mill. Just continually asking questions until it came to me what I thought I wanted to do. And then, Dr. Wingate was more of a scientist. But I'm also going to add questioner there too, because he was a great teacher and he led you to the answer by asking you better and better questions. Okay, but whatever that is, I want you to write that down for yourself. And it doesn't have to be my terms. You don't have to think about like Socratic dialogue or anything like that. Just put the first word that comes to your mind. Now, what I want you to do is go down this list of names and look for commonalities. Which names and levers appear more than once? Now, you've probably been guided in your life by different types of people and different things worked at different times. When you were in the 5th grade, every teacher was an authoritarian and, maybe that helped. But maybe there was one really kind teacher that kind of took you under their wing. When I'm thinking back to Coach McGrath, what's funny is that while we won the state championship, it was actually one of the assistant coaches on the bench, the trainers that I bonded most closely with. His name was Mark. And I can remember, as a little kid, I was brand new to hockey. The other kids were a few years ahead of me. And I kept like going offside and, we'd be bringing the puck down the ice and the ref would blow the whistle. Chris, you're offside again. And it happened like 3 times in a row. And my teammates were getting pissed. And the head coach was like, what are you doing? Get on the bench. And it was actually Mark that came over to me and he's like, Chris, do you know what offsides is? And I said, no. So I was getting upset and frustrated and paralyzed because I didn't know what I was doing wrong. And he pulled out like a dime and a nickel out of his pocket. And he's like, okay, you are the nickel. The dime is the puck. When the dime goes across the blue line first, you're good. When you go across the blue line and then the puck comes across the blue line after you, that's offside and the ref blows the whistle. Oh, got it. Okay. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to change. I'm going to cross off, the longer I think about this, it wasn't really Coach McGrath. He got us to the championship, but it was Coach Mark that helped me do the thing that made me proud that got us to the championship. And his lever was explainer. Okay. He didn't explain by handing me a rule book or reading me a rule book. He explained it to me by taking 2 dimes or a dime and a nickel out of his pocket and saying, here's how this works. All right. So he's a good explainer, meaning that he was good at breaking things down into language that I understood and telling me point by point. Okay. So that was his lever. So I changed that. The next thing that I want you to do, though, is like identify what these levers are in common. Okay. Or like, do you have the same coach or the same mentor in 3 different places, maybe? And I want you to circle the things that these people had in common, because this is going to tell you a lot about yourself, like what you respond to. A lot of us think we need this drill sergeant mentor, right? And, maybe that works for a little while, but long term, you want to find people who do things the way that have always worked for you. So for me, like questioner, oh boy, that's a good one. That's something that people have had in common when they're coaching me in the past. And another one is like somebody who's scientific. Okay, that's good because, I want to be able to take them seriously. I want to know that they know what they're talking about. They're not just guessing or making things up. But another great one for me is explainer, like somebody who knows the topic so well that they can answer my questions, but also break it down into tiny little steps. They're not just reading me the rule book. They're not just, repeating something they heard on a podcast. They've done it, and they've done it well enough that they can break it into tiny steps for me. So, that's what works for me. That's what I look for in a mentor. Now, what we need to do next is to, we found the common levers. We need to find the expert, okay? Find the mentor. So you have to start off with asking yourself, what do I want to achieve next year, okay? And then dig deeper. Why do I want to achieve that thing? Well, I want to get my gym to $300,000. Okay. Why? Well, because I want to be able to take home at least $70,000 myself. Why? Well, because if I make $70K a year, I'll feel like I'm contributing to the family and we're not just living off my wife's income. I'm really sharing a personal story myself here now. Why? Well, honestly, I feel a little guilty that she's bearing all the burden. And while I have no problem with, her being the primary breadwinner, I know that she kind of hates her job, and I feel a little bit guilty because I love my job, but I'm only making 1/3 of what she makes. This really happened, right? This is like 1999 for me. Okay, so that's why I want to make $70K a year, and for me to take home $70K a year, the gym needs to make 300. Okay, great. And you might say something like, I need 300 gym members next year. Why? So that the gym makes money. Why? Et cetera. And you just go down that trail, but you got to get to your root motivation here. So now you want to say, okay, well, who has actually achieved this specific thing? Okay. You want to identify some people who have achieved your specific goal, not necessarily the people who have done it the way that you think it should be done. So for example, you don't just want to say, I need 300 members. I'm going to find somebody that has 300 members at their gym. You need to go through the exercise of actually asking yourself why. Then you can say, oh, I need to find somebody who has made $70K a year take home from their gym because they, wanted to be or carry more of the financial load at home or something like that, right? This is a really important point because in the fitness industry, we often chase after the tactical experts instead of the people who are truly successful. We think like, 300 members is a way to make money. I've solved it. So we pay the marketing agency or whatever to help us get to 300 members, but we miss our actual goal. And we need to talk to the person who will make us successful at the real goal, the goal that you might have to dig a bit to get to. And, what happens a lot in the fitness industry is it results in people who aren't actually successful at anything, making money as experts by selling their advice by helping you chase the wrong goal. Okay. So here's a great example. Unsuccessful gym owners selling marketing secrets or like doing business coaching, right? Maybe they're good at marketing themselves, whatever, but their gym still failed. So you want to list 2 or 3 people in your industry who have achieved your actual goal. Now, Hey, a great place to start is on this Run a Profitable Gym podcast. Listen to the guests. Have they achieved what you want to achieve? Listen to their lifestyle right now. Reach out to them on Facebook. Hey, what's your lifestyle like? Ask them questions. Go in gymownersunited.com. These are 10,000 of the best gym owners in the world. There's other Facebook groups too. We filter gymownersunited.com for personality, basically. We want humble, helpful people in there because when I started looking for a mentor in the gym space, I couldn't find any of those people. Every expert or business coach in the gym space was kind of a jerk, really pushy with sales. And I didn't want to be successful like that. And so I want to surround myself with people who are successful, but who are also humble and helpful. And so you can reach out to those people in gymownersunited.com if those are the kind of people that you want to work with. Okay. Now, the next step is to call the expert. The only way to find out if the expert can get you results is to call them. So the next key here when you're looking for a mentor is you don't just want somebody who's been successful themselves. Okay. That's necessary, but insufficient to be a good mentor. It's like seeing a fit dude on the beach who really can't help other people get fit. He can help really fit people get fitter, but he can't help somebody who's a beginner start to get fit. It's the same with a lot of mentors. And so you have to find out, can this mentor actually help me get where I want to go instead of just telling me what they're doing. Okay. So ask him or her how they would approach your problems. Ask how they have overcome your specific challenges, right? Which is a deal breaker a lot of the time. Does that person possess the levers, all of these things that are necessary to actually guide you to getting your best result, right? The things that have gotten results for you in the past, or are they just selling a tactic? Hey, get 30 leads, whatever. The best mentor that you find, it might not be me. It might not even be one of the 55 professional trained mentors on the Two Brain team. But there's only one way to find out. Start by booking a call with my team. It's free, and we might choose each other. I'm Chris Cooper. This is Run a Profitable Gym. And look, I firmly believe that every coach needs a coach. If you don't have a coach, it's going to be really hard to convince your clients that they need a coach. That's true for fitness. It's just as true for business. If you really want to have a successful anything in life, a coach is the person that's going to be your objective eye. It's going to be the person that guides you there, that shows you the shortest path, the easiest path, that gets you there quickest and helps you achieve more than you ever thought possible. Hopefully we can be that for each other, but I hope this exercise guides you into picking a mentor so that you can grow your business and help more people.